Yeah, gotta watch your head, y'all. Low bridge. Oh, dripping all on me. Whoa, man, this is low. This is low.
This ain't fun yet.
Low bridge.
Fantastic caverns. In case you're not aware of it, you're on the only ride-through cave in North America. There's only 4 worldwide. There's one in France, there's one in Slovenia, one in Barbados, and this one. So that does make this a rather unique experience. Now, one of the reasons why I stopped here is back in the 1930s, during a time called the Depression. There were no jobs and nobody had any money. So the owner of the cave at that time had to figure out a way to pay his bills. And he had this idea that he would grow a garden down here in the cave, harvest his produce, take it to Springfield, sell it, and put some money in his pocket. What on earth do you think he could grow down here? Any thoughts? Mushrooms, exactly. Mushrooms, little button top mushrooms. And this is the last, they say he grew those because he was such a fun guy. No. Anyway, this is the last of several that he had. It actually was quite lucrative for him. He got him through those hard times.
Yeah, look at the mushrooms down there.
The last of several mushroom beds that he had. Now, if you look up here at the ceiling, you can see all these little things hanging down. These are what we call soda straws. And we call them that because they grow in a hollow tube-like shape, just like a drinking straw. And that's how most of the forming the water on the surface finds its way down through the bedrock and the limestone, and it works its way down here into the cave. It's calcite. So the water carries the calcite into the cave, the water eventually evaporates, it leaves the calcite behind, and that's how our formations begin. And we'll go up ahead and see what they look like when they've grown up some. But I'm going to go to the Great Lakes and beyond. And this ocean is filled with fish and sea creatures and such. And when they die, their bones, teeth, shells, and what have you, go floating to the bottom. You get enough of those bones, teeth, shells, and what have you, compressed over time, you get what we call a limestone today. This is a limestone cave. Now, upon first glance, you don't really notice, but when you start looking, there's fossils everywhere, all in the ceiling, all sorts of fossils. See all the fossils right in here? See them all? You don't notice them at first, and then you start looking. Well, they found a whale skeleton in the Sahara Desert too, so we'll go on ahead.
Okay. There's the group of the Amish or Mennonite Amish light. Nice. Cool. Oh, wow. One of only 4 drive around caves in the world, they said. Oh, wow. Yeah.
We're in water right now.
Yeah. Crossing over this water here. Wet. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Look how deep it is. Wow. Don't get my gators wet. Trying to get my gators wet. Wow, look at all this. Look at all this water. Oh, wow, look at that. Dad, look above you. Look above you, Dad. Dad, tell me.
This cave is 60 degrees all year round. It's warm in the winter. All right, so we look up at the ceiling, and there's more of these soda straws. And they will grow somewhere between 6 and 10 inches long. And then at that point, that calcite will begin to clog up that center area, and the water will start to drip down around it, forming what we call stalactites. That's what all these are, hanging tight to the ceiling. Now, this particular stalactite that my light's on, it's kind of special because the formation it makes, it has its own name. And this is what we call cave curtains or cave drapery. And it makes this type of formation like this right here because the ceiling is kind of slanted and it causes the water to drip down at an angle, leaving behind what looks like curtains or drapes. And if you watch, as that water continues to drip, it'll drip down there to the ground. That calcite will start growing upward, forming what we call a stalagmite. It might go to reach the ceiling. You kids, that's a good way to remember that. When I was 6 years old, my folks took me to
goes up, the tights go down.
And I always remember the tour guide saying, a stalactite holds tight to the ceiling, a stalagmite might go to reach the ceiling. And that stuck with me all these many years. So that is a good way to remember it.
When the mites go up,
Too, that's a good way to remember that.
when the mites go up, the
These
tights
two
go down.
formations are lined up where they could possibly go together. Is approximately 1 cubic inch per 100 years.
Wow.
So
Well, we just saw one drop down on it.
Well, we're going to go to the next stop, but as we go,
1 inch every 100 years.
when you look on the table,
So 1,000 years,
it looks like
not
there's
even
something
a foot.
that's actually
Wow.
a formation we call flowstone.
No, blink of an eye. In geologic times, it's the blink of an eye.
Calcite's pure white, but it's the minerals that give the cave its color.
Said he grew mushrooms. What they were magic mushrooms. Ooh. Got dark. Ugh, got dark quick, huh? What happened? They did what?
It's where the cavemen tied up their horses.
Oh. How dark it is back here. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Man, they had to see if it was too wet. I didn't understand that, but now I do.
Oh, there's some more curtains up there. Smaller. That one's twisting over there. Look at that one over here, twisting pretty cool. Oh, here we go. Nice.
Alright, we're going to talk about this right here. This is not a cave formation.
Nope.
This really should not be in our cave, yet here it is. What this is a well casing. Now, how did a well casing get in our cave? In 1941, there was a farmer that lived up top and he wanted water. So he needed to dig a well. He knew the cave was here. He did not want to cause any damage. So he walked around up top and he measured and scratched his head and calculated and decided if he was to put it right here, it would miss the cave altogether. Oops, he miscalculated by about 10 feet. He wanted it on the other side of the cave wall. When they realized they hit the cave, they came down to see how much damage was done. They took a look at it and they thought, you know what? It's out of the way. Let's just leave it. Because it's going to cause more damage to try to take it out because they'd already had a hole there. So that's what they did. And they thought, well, since we're here, let's go ahead and go down a little further. Anyway, they drove down another 50 feet. They hit water, and everything turned out to be quite well.
There's that well. Already calcified over. Oh my goodness. Wow. It looks almost blurry on the outside of it. Like naturally blurry. Oh my goodness, look at that. Whoa. Look at the white though on this side too.
Alright, so this cave was discovered in 1862 by a man named John Knox. Mr. Knox was out hunting with his dog, Juno. You all may have noticed a statue of a dog in our pavilion on your way down to the visitor center. That's dedicated to Juno the Bloodhound. Anyway, they're out hunting, and Juno chases a small animal into a small hole in the side of the hill. Well, Mr. Knox goes to call for Juno, and Juno didn't come out. But Mr. Knox could hear his dog kind of whining and whimpering. Well, he's pretty fond of his dog, so he goes back to his house, and he gets himself a candle or a lantern. They didn't have flashlights back then. And he goes to that hole where his dog went in. Now, this is a very small hole. Mr. Knox, he has to get down on his belly and does that army belly crawl. And he crawls in there several feet, and then everything opens up for him. And at that point, he realized, he gets on in there, he finds his dog Juno, and gets his dog and takes him home. And I'll get the rest of that story here in a little bit. But Juno was whining and whimpering because he wandered into an area so dark he'd never experienced before. And he probably lost his sense of direction and couldn't find his way out. So I'm going to show you what Juno experienced. If everybody will be so kind, just make sure all your lights are totally dark on all your devices. On 3, 1, if you think you might get scared, just close your eyes. 2, bright in the total darkness. But I would not want to explore the cave this way. But in 1887, we were introduced to something very special. The Edison bulb. In 1887, this was some amazing technology. This was like something from the future. And fantastic Caverns had a steam-powered generator.
Oh, wow.
And it could generate electricity and power the lights.
Dark it is back here.
Now, mind you, this is several years before they had electricity in Springfield. So people would
There's
come
these
from all
columns.
over, they would stand in line, and they would camp out to get here to the cave. Used to see the cave, that's what we see it today.
Mm-hmm.
So what a difference.
Beautiful.
We went from this, now we went from this, to this, to this. I just like doing that. Okay. All right, we're gonna go on up again. We're gonna stop on top of what's called.
There's the back of me right there. And here's the front. Oh, look at the pool. Let's go swimming. They got crawdads. They got mud bugs and a blind cavefish in there. This little pool here is 20 feet deep. You can see where it's kind of stagnant too. Except for water dripping right there. Yeah, you'll change the history of mankind forever. No.
When the cans land there, which is
When it rains, the runoff water drains down into these sinkholes. When it rains enough, that water starts converging and forming an underground river. And it flows all the way down to 3 miles. It actually enters, there's a little archway down here, way below, you can't see it, but it enters here, and it goes on out this direction, and it meanders around, goes down the hill, and discharges at what we call Indian Spring. And that empties out into the Little Sock River that flows at the bottom of the hill below the visitor center. Then the whole process starts again. Now, a lot of folks ask, does your cave ever flood? Yes, it does. The highest I've ever known the water to be was spring of 2019. It rained so much the water came up over the railings.
Oh, wow.
We can't get tours for like 6
That's
months.
what, 10 feet there? 8 to 10 feet.
It's about 12 stories.
12 stories, 120 feet below the surface. Got a nice little video here.
They knocked at his door, and he opened it to see standing in front of him 12 young women. So, ladies, this cave was first explored by girls.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. All those straws up there. Wow. Oh, here we are crossing the water again. And there's another tour coming up behind us there. Been there, done that. Yeah. This is where all the ladies that first explored this place. Oh, look at these formations though. That's cool right there. That's all their names. Good for them. They also be one of the first people to ever explore a cave. It's the auditorium, biggest room in the cave.
They had a weekly variety show on Saturday nights called Farmerama. And on occasion, they would invite some of the big names in country music to perform down here. They would record the show and air it on NBC Radio later that week. And that went on for a number of years. But the acoustics are absolutely amazing down here. Mr. Knox discovered this cave in 1862. However, he did not place that ad in the paper until 1867. He waited for 5 years. The reason behind that, the American Civil War was going on. And Mr. Knox knew if word got out that he had a cave, either the Union or the Confederate Army would come through and take it. Both armies were in this area at that time. Both armies were actively seeking out caves. One of the things they were looking for were caves that had a lot of backwater. And what they would do is they would come in these caves, they would dig up soil that contained bat droppings. Then they would take that soil and they would put it in these large vats
like
called
ammunition.
Leaching vats. And then they would take water, they would run it over the top of that soil. That water would then run down through the soil, and it would come out down here in the form of a muddy slurry. And that was a process called leaching out the minerals. Then they would take that muddy slurry, and they would start cooking it. And they would cook it in large kettles that they would place out of the mouth of the cave. And they would cook that all day long. At the end of the day, when all the water had finally cooked away, what they were left with were these crystals that stuck to the sides and the bottom of the pot. Those crystals contain something called potassium nitrate, also referred to as saltpeter. And they found they took those crystals and crushed them up, mixed it with potash and sulfur. They came up with gunpowder. And gunpowder was something that was in high demand during that time period. So in my opinion, Mr. Knox was a very wise man, keeping quiet about his discovery until after the war had ended, or they would have surely destroyed the cave. So we are still able to enjoy it today due to his wisdom. Now, fast forward to the 1920s, during a time in our country called Prohibition, when the sale and the consumption of alcoholic beverages was outlawed throughout the land. Somebody thought, well, that doesn't mean underneath the land. And they thought this would be a great place for a bar. So they put in an illegal speakeasy down here, and they kicked up their heels for about 3 years until they got shut down. They had a bar that ran underneath this rock, they had dance floor, they had game tables. Rumor has it there was a domestic dispute, and the gentleman picked up a gun and shot his brother-in-law dead. He went and got the sheriff, and the sheriff begrudgingly came down and did his job and shut the place down. I say begrudgingly because it was also rumored that the sheriff had also frequented the speakeasy. So that's the scuttlebutt on that.
There's the auditorium stage. Play music. So I bet the acoustics are off the chart in here. There's like the speakeasy there. Oh no, it's the classroom. Oh, here we go. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. Look at how close we are to this thing. Whoa. Low bridge. Oh. Man. Oh, nice. I know, look at all the straws.
If you have good imagination, you you might see what looks like the back of a nativity scene up here.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
there.
Yeah. Look at the straws up above us too. Beautiful. All the way back.
That's because all these rocks that you see broke down here used to be up on the ceiling. And basically what happened in here, it was the land before time, and the water was
look at
running
that,
here
too.
falling out the pay. The water level would rise and fall, and it would saturate the limestone. Over time, it saturated it so much, it could rock.
There's a nativity scene.
The first one was right through here where my light's shining. The second would be the shelf right above that. And the third is up here on the ceiling. It looks like a big sheet. So it broke away in tiers like
Oh wow.
this.
Yeah, you see the
Dome shape, which does
1,
prevent
2,
collapse.
and
If
3.
you do have concerns though on Atlas up here with the light shining, he's been holding up that ceiling for thousands of years. Hasn't made any calling anybody yet. So I think we're good.
That one there has been staying up there
A
forever.
lot of folks would come through here and think, well, it looks like an earthquake caused this. Well, it does kind of look that way, but it didn't. But I will tell you this, the worst earthquake that hit North America was not in California, but it actually happened about 300 miles south of the city, along what's called the Neomantic Fault. This earthquake was so severe, it's been said, that it made the Mississippi River run backwards for 2 days.
Nope.
It's also been
New
said
Madrid.
it fell as far north as Washington, D.C., as far south as South America. As severe as that earthquake was, there's no evidence it did anything inside this cave. In fact, scientists can tell you a cave can be a safe place to be during an earthquake. The scientists will also tell you another earthquake of that magnitude could hit in this area again at any time. If that were to happen.
Ooh, low bridge. Look at all these. Wow.
Now, folks, I'm going to turn the lights on for you in just a moment. I'm going to show you. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my own little Ozark flashlight. I'm going to walk down this trail over here so you all can kind of have an idea, get some kind of concept of what that experience may have been like.
There she is exploring the cave with an Arkansas lantern. That's how she's imagine back then doing that. Holy smokes. And here is the cave now. Wow.
Look at all that.
Yeah. Oh, look how beautiful.
Now, if you're on the left-hand side,
The carpets match the drapes. Yee.
yet in the operative word. The lowest point of the cave is going to be right through here. And it's going to be just a few inches off the top of my Jeep. So we go into a little game we call cave limbo. See how low you go. Now, the only other thing is you got another person sitting across from you.
Look at these, beautiful. See it dripping over there. Low bridge. Oh man. Duck down here, holy smokes. Oh yeah. Oh, let me get a video of that. Oh my goodness. Just don't hit myself here. Wow. Wow, look at these
Now,
over
the
here.
last place to watch your head is going to be on this overhang as we exit the cave.
Oh, we're done?
Now,
I guess that's
when we
it.
get outside, I'm going to show you all the hole where the cave was discovered.
Oh yeah. There's outside.
There's the moss right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Watch yourself, son. Don't hit your head. Trust me, it's gonna hurt. Watch your heads there, y'all. Yeah, low bridge here. Whoa! Duck, duck. Whoa, wow. Real low. Oh, there's the water. Drippity, drip, drip. And there we go.